one is the certification of an April 2nd, 2019 referendum, and we'll pass that over to Superintendent Greg Pillard as well.
At this point in time, there are some deadlines that will be here before we know it, and that is regarding a possible referendum for April 2nd. And so if the board has an interest in going forward to at least consider an April 2nd referendum, it's necessary to give the administration the authorization to go to bond council and have the articles of referendum, the resolution officially drawn up. And so what you would do tonight, if you would like for us to ask bond council to write up the articles of resolution for a referendum, we would do that and bring it to the board in January for your consideration. With that, we can leave the dollar amount open at this point in time, or if you would like to insert a dollar amount, we can actually have the bond council develop it based on X amount, okay? And so in the past, we had talked about a $50 million referendum, okay? We mentioned that we have about $3.9 million in between the Jackson Fund and our Fund 46. We spent $750,000 of that Jackson Fund last meeting when we purchased the land from the Village of Jackson. Okay, so we have a little over $3 million in those two accounts. And so my recommendation, if you choose to ask us to go to bond council and have the referendum drawn up, the resolution, that you would do it for one of three amounts, either $50 million, $48 million, or $47 million. The $50 million would be the full amount that we had talked about, but that doesn't take into consideration that you have saved $3 million. And so realistically, if you are looking at a $50 million project, or two projects that would equate to no more than $50 million, then either a $48 million or $47 million resolution would make more sense. If you choose to go with 48 as opposed to 47, I think you still need to emphasize that your sum total of all the projects are not to exceed $50 million, that the other million you left into the Fund 46 is going to be used for other types of projects, not necessarily the construction of a new elementary school in Jackson or the remodeling of the high school. It would be for other projects. And so really I could give two things that you have to consider. One is, do you want us to ask bond council to come up with a resolution to bring to you at our January meeting? And two, if you do, are you ready to tell me how much you want that dollar amount to be, or would you prefer that we just leave that empty and you can open and you can make that decision in January if you chose to go to referendum? So that's really kind of in a nutshell.
Leaving the dollar amount off for now, is that easy to insert in January? Is that, or would we have to go back to our council and spend more money having lawyers review it just by inserting a dollar amount?
I'm not exactly sure about that. I mean, you'd only have a week after you actually took a motion or action on January 14th, because the ballot question has to be in its final form by January 22nd. So you do have some time in there in case you would have to take. But if you took a motion on the 14th, you have to change the ballot. You'd have to revise the resolution though, because the resolution really is identifying what the ballot question is.
Yes.
I'd like to strongly suggest we make it the lowest amount possible from the standpoint of stewardship of resources and taxpayer dollars. The other is, still contend we are overbuilding. It may be, necessary, but there are things that are wants and there are things that are needs. And so that is my concern, is that we, may be overbuilding, and it's just the enrollment projections are not there to support the size that we're, suggesting. And, I indicated with the high school, certainly in favor of safety, certainly in favor of the tech ed improvements, et cetera. But, some of the other things, I'm not quite sure.
Ken, if I don't mind asking, how would you envision the 3 million that we've saved? So are you suggesting we ask for a question of 47 plus the 3?
No more than 47.
So the amount would be a not to exceed borrowing of an additional 47, knowing that we still have 3 in the bank to spend on the project. I just want to make sure, I'm in the same boat you are. I mean, we've saved this money for this purpose, and I think the 3 million, there's no point in asking for 50 if you got 3 in the bank. I guess the only other piece of that is, do we want to, after it's all said and done, do we still want to have a little bit in the bank? $500,000 or $1 million? So in that case, maybe you ask for 48, you spend 2 in the bank, and you're left with $1 million. Yeah.
My contention is that you could still get by with that, still have some in the bank if you did the value engineering that you needed to do too. I contend that there are savings.
Tell the contractors to sharpen their pencils.
I agree with Ken. I am in favor of the 47 million referendum, but at the same time, that doesn't mean we have to spend all of it. And I think that there are things we can do to streamline the design and make it more simple. We just need to have the bond available so that the money is there, but that doesn't mean we're spending all of it.
Question about the remaining dollars, would they be restricted then? I mean, I understand now they're for a specific purpose, correct? So how does the restriction work in the future?
Fund 46 requires that you keep the initial investment for a minimum of 5 years. So the earliest that you can access any of the Fund 46 dollars will be June or July of 2019, okay? But even if you use all 3 million of it, there's still a little bit left in Fund 46. What you don't want to do is to get it down to 0, where you have to start over again and you couldn't put money into it and take it out for 5 more years. And so you want to keep at least a little bit in Fund 46, so that as we do some energy efficiencies in the high school, and some of the savings that you generate because you're putting in LED lights as opposed to fluorescent, some of the money that you're saving, you could potentially put into Fund 46, so that future energy efficiency type programs would have some funding available, so that it's a kind of a perpetual account. And I think it's important to save at least a little bit in the Fund 46, so you don't have to wait 5 more years for the next time you could take it out. And 3 million would still allow some of that money to be there. And if Ken's right and we could come up with some value engineering and you only spent 47 million as opposed to 50 million, you're gonna spend the 47 million that you borrowed, and the 3 million that you have in your account isn't gonna be spent, and you use that for other projects.
Just don't wipe the account clean.
Don't wipe
because
it
then
totally
you're-
clean,
You need to
leave a
start
little
an
bit in it.
initial deposit
Yep.
and wait 5 more years.
Which makes it seem then that we should be aiming towards 48 or 50 million versus 47, so we don't wipe that fund out. Would that be fair to say or no?
I believe if I think, and Karen's not here, but I believe it was about $3,850,000, or not quite, it wasn't 4, but it was more than $3,750,000. And so we spent $750 already, which maybe if you bonded for 30 or 47 million, you still have 100,000 or so in that account. So even if you only borrowed 47, and I don't mean only 47, that's a lot of money, but that would still allow you to keep a little bit of money in Fund 46 so that you could add to it and continue to take it out as soon as you wanted to.